traveling across the sky.
Hey, Paul,
Yeah.
let's back this up a little bit. My
Okay.
apologies. That is my fault. I'm still a rookie for this new yard stream thing. I forgot to go live. So let's 1, 2, 3. Once again, this is Paul, and I just did some house work. They're cleaning. But anyways, we'll just have to. I'll do that later. We're done with Paul. Paul is the. Thank you for those people that are going to hear us. They're probably like, "What the heck's going on the past 4 minutes?" This is embarrassing, but it happens. It's going to happen. It's going to happen to me. So, yeah, listen, this is Paul, the Orb Whisperer, somebody that I'm totally been wanting to talk to for years. I think I actually reached out to you, Paul, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, but you were not too impressed at the time. Maybe you didn't want an interview. Maybe you weren't into it at the time. But now you are. I'm so excited that I get this chance to talk to Paul, the Orb Whisperer from Down Under. This man knows his stuff. And please apologize. Please, I apologize to you. Please forgive me, I should say, for messing up the beginning here. So I'll get it right at some point. People, I'm trying to do a million other things. And hey, Sheldon, Judy, thank you for joining us and everyone else. So with that, Paul, would you start again of who you are? Unfortunately, you didn't get too deep into it. So
Okay. Yeah. So, how do you do? I'm Paul Little. I'm based in Sydney, Australia, and I've just been experiencing this orbs in spiritual realm 24 hours a day for the past since 2014, basically. So pretty much, I can see them with my eyes 24/7. So at night time, during the day, everywhere, every house. For work, I go to houses, 2 or 3 houses a day. So I can see the orbs and interact with them in every house around the city. And Sydney's a big city. I've been to other countries and seen the orbs too. I've been out on the ocean on a boat, a cruise liner, seen the orbs there. I've been up in an aeroplane watching the orbs out the window. So pretty much they're everywhere I look. The entire Earth is covered in an ether, I suspect, which is full of orbs.
well, this is just fascinating. When did your eyes open up to this reality? How long has it been this way for you?
Since August 2014. So
Well, what
as
happened caused you to start seeing stuff? Because this is not normal for most people to be able to have eyes for this. Admittedly. By the way, I'm
absolutely.
in the background of one of Paul's videos. So what
So,
happened?
I was out on my balcony just getting some fresh air, like 2 a.m. in the morning, and I started seeing these many hundreds of lights traveling across the sky, going from north to east, so northeast direction, and so I was transfixed on that, you know, um, and always since I've been a child, I always looked up to the sky and watching, which is quite different from most people. Most people just go about their daily lives, but I've always looked up into the sky. And this particular night I did, and I saw the hundreds of orbs, and then I saw like a formation break away. And then at that time, that formation kind of broke away and accelerated. It appeared to me. And at that time, I had this pulsing, a wave of electric energy flow pulse through my body. So I just let it happen. I didn't fight it at all, and I just enjoyed the experience, you know, because it was totally unique. So, and then like the next morning, I woke up, I went outside, and I saw them again everywhere. These tiny lights, flying around the sky, and I was started to think like we're being invaded. This is it. The
Yeah.
UFO invasion has begun. Um, so over time, uh, the coming months, my eyes started to get better with the vision, and I started seeing the orbs clearer and closer, and I started pinpointing them down on the ground. So then I started using every facility, every torch, every light source I could find to shine at them and show them that I could see them because I wanted to communicate with them so much. So I started shining the light and following around and showing them that I was there and that I could see them.
Mhm.
So they gave me a gift of sight, um, which I'm truly happy for and thankful. And I still, every day, I'm very thankful for the vision. Um, so then slowly my vision progressed, getting better, and until I could see the orbs in front of my eyes. Constantly, like even if you close your eyes, I can see the orbs flying around. So that's where it becomes a connection between your mind and the matrix around you. It's not purely a physical eye manipulation. It's a spiritual thing. So because also they can enter your dreams, um, and it's a physical sensation as well. Being able to touch them, being able to move them around with my eyes. Say, for instance, I can look at the orbs, and wherever I look, they will fly to. Plus, you can
Hmm.
also think within your mind, please move right, left, please do a loop, and they will do that. Um, it's really good to connect with them because you're flying them around, and then you do all these parabolas and circles, big circles in the sky, and they start flashing bright. Uh, Orbs seem to love movement. I'm going off on a bit of a tangent, but I
No, go
noticed
for it.
that
This is fantastic. Do it.
I noticed
This is wonderful.
in the
Good.
early days that orbs were they were chasing birds. So orbs love movement, sort of. So every bird flying in the sky, if you just look like about a meter behind them, for sure there'll be an orb flying behind them. Um, and then I noticed like orbs are around every single car on the road, and you just imagine how many cars are on in the world. Every single car has this orb field around them, and they're all traveling around like our giant conveyor belt road systems. And orbs are interacting around everyone. Orbs surround everybody. So I go for a walk, like in the shopping center or just out in public, and you can see the orbs are just flying around, hanging around people's heads. And everybody is just totally unaware as to what is actually around them and how they are interacting with them. It's my clue that orbs are our sixth sense. They are the ones that help us to have precognition to be able to pick up certain senses and nuances about other people. Um, I know this because when I'm interacting with people, I'm going into their homes or people, my friends I'm talking to, orbs will do this like little flash in the forehead, And that, to me, that tells me that they're friendly and I can talk to them. It doesn't happen to everybody, but it just shows me that they're there and they're in between us, and they're acting like us as a sixth sense, providing that emotional link between, or spiritual link between us.
That is fascinating that you describe it as our sixth sense. I never heard that one before, but it makes a lot of sense. And oh boy, I can take that places outside of well, this topic. It can lead into other places. Um, and you say it
That's what,
follows your eyes and knows your thoughts.
yes, yes. So they're connected to our subconscious, and they're also connected to our physical being. So, say for instance, I also discovered along my journey that orbs, they let out like these super fine strings. Um, so I
No
just put
kidding.
my hand up, just put my hand up in the orb, and here there's a string between us in my hand, and you can just push it down. But we're all walking through this, like they they
Kind of like,
break,
kind of like,
you
kind of
pass
like a
through.
like something like a real thin. Some people talk about a silver cord, but other people like a spider web or like a thread of spider, like silk, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Yes,
How
yes,
we?
yes. Also,
Okay.
I see that too, because when you go for a walk through the forest, orbs are everywhere. Orbs live within all the branches of the trees, and they surround the trees. So orbs will hang uh, between trees like a spider web, because like the range and size of the orbs I see are from like tiny, tiny, up until like meters across, and they're just like spider webs. They just hang between, even like your gate at the front of your house. Like they
Right.
just, or your doorway or your window. Like they can settle in between those, and just hang there, like, and their feel just touches all around. Um, yeah, because that's just
Can you
part of
can
nature.
you see the shared Paul? Can you see the screen I'm sharing?
Yes.
The screen I'm sharing to have your. Uh, would you like to read that, or should I read that? Because this will go along and you
Okay,
kind
I can
of put
read.
us. And this is fascinating, Paul, because this is going. And I believe people, I haven't really. I'm just going with the flow with this was research, and I just got done reading that book. And those who paid attention, and that book was Adventures Beyond the Body, how to experience an out of body experience from William Bowman, and he brings up some of this stuff. I'm serious. And I just read this yesterday. Now you're speaking this. I didn't even know about this PDF until an hour ago, and here we are talking about this. And there's such a connection with anybody that's following what I'm doing or as part of our groups. This should resonate. Please read this.
Sure, sure. So orbs pervade the air we breathe. They live within the trees, around the trees, and everywhere in between. Imagine an ether as an ocean. We are submerged in this ocean. I see the orbs with my eyes 24/7. They are literally everywhere I look. I see a white aura around most structures, including trees and individual branches that can glow like lightning. People, too, have an aura around them. Orbs also resemble spider webs in that they hang between trees and their fields, but they also do this between doorways or in between most any structures. Orbs can appear to link together like a string of pearls or matrix in every dimension. Sort of like, Metatron's cube. They take that form of Metatron's cube, which is like a basic formation of the universe. So orbs range in size from a few millimeters to meters. orbs can act as a unit, so they all move together or alone. And static orbs can form what is known as Metatron's cube formation. Just
So
said.
okay, let's stop for a little bit because damn, I got a bizarre question to ask. It's completely off topic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, it's not. It's I okay. Christmas tree ornaments, the bulb. Where did they get the idea from? Because it isn't from testicles, from balls, and from animals. It's not, they try to tell us it's like about the testicles of some animal or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't know if you heard that, but that's what they say here over in North America. And I'm looking at orbs, and I'm looking at a Christmas tree, and I'm thinking, and you brought up the tree. I didn't even know you were going to bring up the tree, and I've been telling people in this who've been following me about trees, and they know what I'm talking about. Christmas trees. Why are there ornaments? Our ancestors has been seeing this stuff.
I really don't know, Michael. Christmas
But
baubles,
anyways,
I guess they're super similar. There is,
yeah,
there is.
real a whole lot similar. And you brought up the trees, and anyways, when does this matrix that this thing that does not the matrix, the Metatron cube formation? Go into a little more detail because I never even heard that with orbs before.
I think
Please.
Metatron is an archangel. I'm sorry, I'm not exactly sure what is. Maybe you can look it up for us.
I will try my best. Actually, that's just a better way of doing this.
So
Metatron cubes in formation. So we're kind of this is fascinating stuff. I think
it's,
I can't believe what you did.
it's
That first
mathematically
paragraph reveals so much.
Archangel Metatron.
So there it is.
Mm. So orbs
Is
can
this
have
what we're
that
looking?
formation.
Now, when you say a formation, that's a group of orbs creating that formation, or is that?
I think like there's a primary orb, and then the other orbs are attached to it through these strings. They become one unit.
I'll be danged.
So you see what you see there. There's squares, there's triangles. It's
They're
the
using
basic
rocks
basic
to
of life.
replace orbs. Right. I'll be danged. I'm sorry. Go
So
ahead, Ben. Yeah. You're probably going, what? This guy's really strange, but you got to understand. Well, you don't know me, but you will know me if you choose to. You'll know me and you'll understand where I come from. But this is about you tonight. So, this is fascinating stuff. Wow. And I can see what you're saying. I can see it. So let's see. Let's go back to this. And I don't want to derail you too much. The Metatron cube is formed by creating lines between the center of the circle of the fruit of life. Metatron's cube is formed by talking the fruit of life and combining male and female in the circle of the fruit of life is our female and the masculine energy superimpose straight lines. Okay, and then we were talking about these string-like things.
That's the string. So everybody's walking through this matrix string field all day, interacting. That's passing through them, and that's how the orbs are sort of attaching themselves to us and interacting with us.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way. Never thought. How did you figure this out? Where did you get this from?
Well, because I can see them.
Well, I know you can see it, but how did you figure this bit of wisdom or
With
not? I mean, how did they speak to you? I mean, what are you just through
just
observation?
pure observation. Because all I can do is just watch them all day and use my thoughts to move them, to make them merge, and experimenting that way. Making them fly around or make them spin, and just talk to them also with the simple sign language system that I have with them. Say, for instance, I'm moving them side to side. Uh, they will do that just as a sign of hello. And then also, I've got like different sign languages. I say more about that later, and I've got a video about that as well. So there's a sign for hello, and then there's love, which is like the helix, the DNA helix. You go up and then down. And so I'm doing these movements with the orbs, and they will copycat me. Or if I ask them the word like love, they will show me by themselves what that symbol means to them, what that word means to them, which
Right.
is how I deciphered the language. So I asked them yes, and what is yes, and they do like a little loop, two little loops, like an at symbol, and then there's no, which is side to side on a diagonal. So and then you got like hello, and maybe, which is like a wave. So you can interact and kind of discern questions from them by this.
This is fascinating. Does have you seen anybody else try the same technique and have success?
Uh, I know there are people, others who can see orbs for sure. Yep, but I'm afraid I'm not aware of any of them being able to manage language with them, a sign language.
Yeah, there's I have never seen anybody else besides you that's demonstrated it at all. And the folks, he's got videos out there and him and like in his house and
Yeah,
just they're coming and going and
many of my videos have like the orbs. They just come up to the camera and they do the loop and fly off. Um, Also, they come at the camera and they do their side to side. Um, like dust just doesn't do that. Dust doesn't stop in the middle of the camera and and then perform a loop or a big loop, or then come to the camera and then fly off and then come back. Just like I have so many instances of that on video as just absolute proof. And also the ultimate proof I think probably I found was my video where the I just put my hand out on the balcony. This is outside, um, and then the orb comes along and it splits instantaneously into three orbs, and they all fly around and come back and fly around my hand. And also at that point, a cubicle orb appears, and so that's on one of my. You might like to watch that now. I don't know. What do you
let's
think?
let's now listen. This is now your opportunity. I am going to stop presenting, sharing, stop screen. Now it's your turn. You go to present, and you can share whatever you want. You're in charge, my friend. There'll be a button in the bottom there where row of stuff says mute, stop camera, things, present.
So this one,
There,
I just put it on.
and it's on. It's ad on stream,
Yeah,
and you
I'll put
are
it
the
on
man in
mute. So
charge.
hang on.
It's up to you. If you guys think it's not going to be a problem with, I think it might. The biggest thing is I noticed doing these
Here we go.
lives that
You see that?
the audio, we can see it. Yes, we definitely see that.
Oh, that's not the one. Hang on.
That's okay. There's no rush.
That's another video, but it's got it.
Easy. While you figure that out, my son's showing me something. What do you want to show me real fast?
All right. Hold on.
While he figures this out.
Um,
And if you got it figured out, just play it. You can try the audio too if you want. I don't know
Yeah,
if it's gonna.
that's right.
If it starts buffering, you guys let me know. What's up, Miss Gibbs?
This is the one.
That's a whole high school I built.
Good job, buddy.
That's
My,
just a
my,
frame of
my
it.
dad, my son's building a. What is it again?
Oh, it's like a city, kinda.
He's building a Minecraft city. He has to show me it while we're doing a live. That's what it's like being a dad. Okay, and I'm glad being a dad. That's for sure. Okay, so we got this going on here, and this is where Paul. He's like reaching out his hand here, and look at that. It's just like, does it come to your hand? Does it land on your hand? What is? Do these things land on your hand, Paul?
Yes, sometimes they come and hover on the hand. Sometimes, like they do like a follow around my field, like they caress my thumb and then fly off. Or like I have a video like the orb comes, it stops, and then it steps down, kind of thing, to my hand, and then kind of touches my thumb and then flies off. There's that rectangular prism. You can see corner. I mean, what dust has corners? Anyway.
Yeah,
Right.
what
Shall we
dust?
stop sharing?
What
Or?
dust moves independently? Oh, you can do. You're the boss, man. If you want to share something, you have access. So, yeah. I mean, what dust just moves independently like that? And I just, what are you using? What technique? I just use my P900 and just take stills because I can't do what you're doing. I mean, I've learned a little bit about how you need some kind of ambient light, some kind of like infrared ambient light and a halfway decent camera. But what's your setup to make this happen?
Yeah, a lot of people ask that question. I start by saying that it's really the person behind the camera. It's not the camera. It doesn't matter what camera you use. It's an infrared or a simple snapshot camera or a super DSLR. It's really a person whose aura or force is behind that camera, envisaging or looking for, and that intent, that wish, for them to come on.
I can see that part, but as far as, because you're using the Cenex, well, you haven't always used the Cenex, but
no, that's kind of recent. Yeah, I had to
But
save
with
up
the
for a while.
Cenex, you need some kind of ambient light, don't you? Like infrared light. You use some kind of.
Yes, I got the infrared torch. I think you asked me how many. I think it was 920 nanometers.
Oh, I didn't ask the size, but now that you're to that point, yeah. Well, how big is it?
Light frequency.
Oh, I asked you. I know we talked. I asked you on the comments there in your video. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. I guess I asked that question and you responded. So what was the size again? How big? How big? Show us how big of a torch is it?
Oh, tiny. Hang on. Let me just get it.
We're getting some useful information in our research here, folks, when they tie all these things together. So
that's the torch there, and that's the main camera. It's very, very compact.
It's a very compact setup.
Yeah.
What would happen if you had a torch that had a much wider range of or field of influence? In other words, it lit up a larger area. Well, how would that? Have you thought about that, or is it sufficient enough for you just in this narrow?
It's sufficient. I mean, it's very, very sufficient. It covers like the 180 degrees of the picture, and enough distance as well to see about 100 meters or more away. It's very good. I think excellent for picking up light, especially without the moonlight. It's particularly excellent at picking up stars too. So I can even track, like satellites in the
Now, are
sky.
you using the Cinex Aurora? Is that the one you're using, or are you using a
That's
different
right.
version?
Yeah, Aurora Pro. Yeah,
Aurora Pro. So,
yeah.
and how did you figure this one out? Did you like listen to other like guys who are dealing with night vision, like operating helicopter pilots, or something? How did you find out or figure out to go with the Cinex? Because this can be an expensive juggling act with all these different cameras to get the right one
Yeah,
going.
yeah. You have to choose wisely, Michael. You'd be very wise with your budget.
Oh yeah, especially because you're not going to get any money out of this. You're going to get a lot of information, but there ain't going to be no money with it. It's just
No,
gonna...
but I'm always looking for different ways and angles to film them. Like the bigger the CMOS, really, during the day. If you've got a big CMOS in a DSLR, you'll be able to capture much more
Okay.
because obviously you're bringing in more light.
Right.
But the smartphones these days are kind of catching up, I think, with their software. Like I've got the Samsung S21 Ultra, and it's really excellent for light capturing in the dark. Um, so I started filming orbs outside with the DSLR, and I'm taking pictures during the day and night. So I have like the fast take a lot of pictures really quickly, and that way you're able to pick to capture the orbs because they
Yeah.
are so fast flying around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, and then I realized I started watching YouTube, and I realized that people were actually filming the orbs in their house. I
Hmm.
thought, whoa, okay. And then I started looking in the house, and I started seeing them with my eyes in the house, and I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Well,
So
that's
I
interesting.
started,
So stop there for a second. You started filming them or seeing them outside, and then they started showing up
yeah,
in the house afterwards. Okay.
because when I became aware, I only saw them outside. I, I, I started seeing them outside. I thought they were only outside entities.
Yeah.
Um, and then only later I realized like they're everywhere. They're inside as well. And then of course, I started filming with the camera, and I just put my hand out naturally, I think, and then the orb came down to my hand from the corner of the room, and that was it. Like I couldn't stop from there on. Every day since for the past 8 years, I film 10 or 20 minutes a day in the house. I can't stop filming. I'm addicted.
Yeah, it seems to be a universal thing that happens with these kind of things when it comes to researching whether it's orbs or any other things. Yeah, and then they come into your house, and then you're it's like so it's 20 hours or 20 minutes a day. So you must have an immense amount of videos and images to share with people. I mean, you must have.
Too
I mean,
many.
you could probably spend 3 weeks just constantly showing nonstop videos.
This look, this is just the last few months. So every time I make a video, I make a little entry in my phone of what I captured, and then I download it every couple of weeks and print off what was in it, and so I can go to that particular video and then find what I actually filmed, and so I can trim the video to put it
So
into.
you're actually, shockingly enough, you're applying the scientific method to this. This is brilliant. Good job, man. I don't want to sound. I don't mean to sound so sarcastic, but the truth is, there's a lot of people that aren't doing that. You're doing that. If you got that
Right.
much documentation plus videos, and, and so you're a developing true understanding and information, and not just because there's a lot of people out there, and I'm one of them too. I'm still trying to figure out what the orbs are. Stuff, I think they're spiritual beings of some nature, but you're explaining that it's something a little bit maybe different than I even understood. Like I told you when I first started doing this, I used to think they were demonic, right? Until, but that's how I started. You start where you're at, right? You know what I mean? And as time goes on with experience and research, you're like, you know, I ain't
So
I really don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I need to talk to somebody who knows what I'm talking about. The problem is trying to find somebody who comes with the orb thing. I mean, there's a lot, that you've been doing this for a while. There's an awful lot of people out there acting like they know what they're talking about, and they clearly don't. And they don't jive with what you're saying or what you're doing. You're the one that's really doing the research. So I don't understand why people aren't going to you to figure out what's going on here. It doesn't make any sense to me. So, except that there's agendas. So, but I'm sorry if I derailed you. If there was some kind of thought you wanted to pursue there.
well, we'll just carry on about the cameras, but we could also talk about how evil orbs are, if you want. So,
Yeah, tell us. What about? Let's just clear up the air here. How evil are orbs?
clear up the air. Okay, so basically, like, how long have orbs been on the planet? How long have they been in the universe? I mean, if they're all around us in such overwhelming numbers, like trillions and trillions or quadrillions of them all around us, and we're in an ocean of them, I'm sure if they were evil and had the potential to harm us, they would have done catastrophic damage by now, don't you think? Because they're the ultimate predator. You can't see them, right?
Yeah.
You don't know when they're coming. They're the ultimate chameleon. They blend into the background of anything. If you're looking at a star, you're actually looking through an orb at a star. That's kind of like my vision.
Isn't it amazing how stars and orbs almost look the same? It's almost like
Yeah.
they're like maybe they're the real star people. There's something to think about. But when you film them in your house, and you mentioned that they're everywhere. And the more and more I study this stuff, the more I realize this stuff is everywhere in multiple different forms and fashions. But when it comes to orbs, that means if they're everywhere, I'm going to ask you them. What do you think? Do you think the orbs are always in your house and just are revealing themselves to you now because they know that you know, and they're just kind of this symbiotic, comfortable, peaceful relationship between the two? I mean, were they always there, or did they show up after the fact once you started? I mean, what do you think? Were they always in your house, or did they show up after you found them outside and brought them into the house?
I believe they're always here.
I think so.
Yeah. They're always they're embedded in around us, around everyone. It's just a matter of when each individual person awakens to them. But they're always been there.
So we have
more you find.
Yeah, we have a very similar path that we're my journey, but it's with Bigfoot, okay, and forest spirits, and once they knew that I knew the game was on, and all of us now can film stuff and see stuff that I never saw before or filmed before, right? Now, part of it is this symbiotic relationship where I'm focusing on them and they're focusing on me type of thing, right? But part of it is just like, I think once you embrace the fact that it is real, that it's almost like the natural next step is, well, if you can accept us, we're real, we'll see what happens. First, we get all freaked out, which I have, and I've had negative experience. I do believe there are evil spirits out there because I've had those experiences and of spiritual warfare. But like you said, if these orbs are everywhere, which I believe, and that means they've always been in our house anyways, So what are we afraid of when it comes to these things? I mean, maybe it's just based on our own ignorance, because that's really what we're dealing with. We're all profoundly ignorant about the topic. We think we know what we're talking about, but you're about the closest person that I found yet that even knows something about what they're talking about. I mean, there's people out there with websites and everything, uh, even similar names that you have. And I don't know if they know as much as you do, really. Maybe they do. I shouldn't judge. I don't know. But when I hear people and what they say and what kind of information they reveal, it's kind of like it's more manipulative and more like exploitive and more about trying to get people to buy their books and try to, you know what I'm saying? You're being honest about what's going on. You're interacting with these things. You aren't out trying to, you know, pull one over everybody. So maybe that's because of your intent, like you say, that you brought up before, that you really just want to understand them and relate with them. You're interested in them, you're passionate with them. Therefore, these things, these spirits, these orbs, they're like you said that they read your mind, right? They know what you're thinking. They watch your eyes. So do you have some kind of deeper relationship with these things than most of us will ever could imagine? Yet, it sounds to me, and if I'm right, and if you're right, and others are right, these things are all around us anyways. Whether you try to deny the fact or not, or close your eyes to the fact, they're all around you anyway. So what's the point of even trying to deny it? Right?
That's right. You can't run. You can't hide. That's right. You just face and accept them because they're not going to hurt you. They're only there to help you and to add to our life and an extension of our spirituality. They're so like I talk to them every day, and you can give them gifts and things like that, But I talk to my orbs, and I know like they reciprocate because when I come home, you have like these little flashing lights and glowing, like saying hello to you. And I'm really close to the entities in the room behind me. Like they're the ones that I feel most. Uh, I really feel a good bond with them. Like they know me, and they play with me on the camera too, like hide and seek and peekaboo. But they also like uh, when I play with them, like blowing bubbles or um, but it's more than that. It's just you get that sixth sense that they're there with you and there to help you and listen.
Now
But
you
it's
say they're there to help you. How do they help you?
to guide us, making good decisions to help um, understand life and to be a better person and to be more humble.
So,
Um,
so then, do you have some kind of experience like mind speak with these things? I mean, how do they lead you and help you to make better decisions? I guess what I'm asking.
well,
I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm just asking you how it happened. Right?
well through the language, sign language, and just asking questions. What should I do? And it's just like talking to God, isn't it? Really, I just you relay your problems to me and to God, but I know that they're listening, and because like if I think about something or ask for them to do a certain movement for me on the camera, they'll do it for you a few days later. Also, like I was just expounding my problems, to them one day, and then like a day later, I get a call out of the blue from someone who I was just relaying my issues about, and I hadn't heard of him for like 10 years or more, and he just called out of the blue and said, "I found your number, and then just checking to see if that you still have this phone number." Like it's really weird connection, scenarios, things like that. that happen, which lets me know that they're actually listening to what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It happens quite a bit in many different levels.
Yeah, it
So,
certainly.
have you ever? I know you. Have you ever experienced any out, say, spiritual, another entity that that was evil, that you experienced any kind of negativity? I mean, it doesn't outside of maybe if you say the orbs are not, I'll accept that. Well, how about something else that maybe is following the orbs? Is there something hunting the orbs? Is there something in this interdimensional realm? Is there something? Have you noticed anything that chases the orbs? Or
No, the orbs are at the top of the food chain as far as I can tell. But what the only thing that could lead to possible being evil is that like they may link or gather our energy. Say for instance,
like like
so,
like like
like I was
Bill,
outside, turned my back, and then the orb came flying in and passed through my back physically, and then I turned around and saw it flying off. Or I'm just lying in bed and then sort of half dozing off, and like the energy, it came onto my back. It's done it a few times. It latches onto your back like this electrical feeling, my entire back, and I could hear it like crackling and noisy static coming from it, and it was
wow,
really close. And then it kind of absorbed itself. It felt like it did absorbed itself into my body. So maybe they need some sort of interaction to to feed their energy themselves, because I really don't know how they power themselves. They're not made of any atoms as substance that we know of, are they? I mean, they're
well,
just
they can go through anything, right? They go through us. They go through the walls.
absolutely.
They go through the trees. They live. Did
Yes.
where do they where do you think they like congregate at certain where they get their how do they recharge themselves? I have you brought up the trees, which I had no idea you're going to bring that up, but I have a theory that these things kind of and it was interesting when you look at the tree and you cut a tree in half and the rings in the tree and the circle once again the stars and the orbs and the tree. There's no connection with these trees. I see these trees as like a neural and what do I say? The neurons, like you think of your our the myelin sheet, the webbing that surround us. I mean, it's full of these neurons and these and their electrical pulses that deliver electrical signals to from one place to another. And I'm seeing the trees as the same thing throughout this realm of existence, throughout this planet or whatever you want to call it. This thing where you have the trees, the branches are reaching out into the sky and the ether. You got the roots going into the ground and all the way to the water table, and somehow it's kind of like a corridor or a portal in its own right. In which have you do there? What's the association with the trees? Do they live in the trees? Do they gather energy from the trees? What is it about it?
I'm pretty sure they're in symbionts. They live within the trees. It's like they're their own personal their shelter. Um, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they may feed off the aura, the energy of the tree. That's a good point. I always thought about what it must be like, how many different entities or creatures there are in the Brazilian basin in the Amazon jungle, because all that pristine jungle. There must be so many different creatures there, of the orb kind, you know, the different variants. It would be wonderful to see. But I think, yeah, true, trees are more than what they seem, for sure. Some people can talk to them, can't they? Some people swear blind that they can feel their energy and get good vibes from them. But from my vision, I can see the aura around them, and looking at trees, if I concentrate on them, all the branches become like flashing lightning. So there's something going on there, for sure. There's a field, just like we have. All humans have a magnetic field too, which is part what I think is definitely what I'm interacting with the orbs with. So when I'm like pushing my hand out, I'm pushing my field out as well into the ether.
Yeah. When you're pushing your field out into the ether, what does it look like? Like webs? Again, is it like this, like a spider web's coming out, and then it or some kind of? Have you noticed, or do you know?
Mm. I can't see that field. I can't. I can see the field around me, but once I release, no, I don't see a beam or anything flying out. But what you do have to do is use your imagination um, to perceive that, and that imagination is your subconscious or your conscious talking to the orbs at the same time. So it's all kind of linked into one system, if you know what I mean.
Sure. And you've had no negative experience interacting with these things. Not a one.
No, I can't. I've only had good experiences, and
Except for maybe a little
I've
bit
had
of.
no negativity since I found them. Everything's just been real positive and happy, and just good, you know, experiences. Even if they do kind of like come into my bed and I feel them around me, I don't care because that's kind of like a unique experience, and I'm still here, and they haven't done me any harm. So it's just something to.
When you say that you feel them, does it feel like fingers touching you or hands, or is
Oh,
it
no,
just like
no, it's a total field.
is,
It's a
is it
whole
like
field, like that big field under my body. No, not a finger, son. No, definitely not like that.
interesting?
It's a
Hey,
whole other.
it's is it all right if anybody wants to join us in the conversation to come in and ask you questions?
Sure, love it. That'd be good.
Okay. Anybody, if you're interested, I gave you a link up there. The yardstream.com. If you're interested, come join us. If you're a jerk, I'm going to block you and kick you out. But if you're cool and you got a cool question, then yeah, please join us. We don't need any jerks. We need to learn from each other. Um, so please join us if you're interested. If not, we'll keep on with this conversation. Appearances. Appearances. I know when I film these things. Oh, well, should I go appearances or movement? Let's go with movement first because it might be shorter. Is there any specific meaning with movement? Now, I noticed like in your cover of your main pay, the image for your YouTube channel, you have these orbs, and wait a minute, that's not who I want. What the heck?
That's not.
This not you, not even close. So those, and they just that. Did you tweak the image so it looks like they're going up, or are they actually going up? And if they are going up, as I noticed, I've seen it very rare, but it seems to happen once when people film them going, you know, vertically straight up. Is there any kind of meaning behind that?
So to begin with, I took that picture with the Nikon DSLR with the flash, and they're actually above a huge, like 20 meter tree, gum tree, um, and they are nothing's manipulated about that image at all. It's just because orbs leave a trail as they fly around, and I've seen this a million times on camera. If I slow my videos down like frame by frame, You can see it moving. It move over here, but you can still see the tail, and then it compresses itself again and then moves off, a bit like a slinky. So yeah, and orbs can also be like globules of water. If you imagine a globule of water floating in space, it's just moving in all directions. They can appear like that as well. Also, if we're talking about movement, right? But yeah,
Yeah, if there's
that's
any kind of meaning, what's the meaning behind? If there's, because it's almost like, I mean, what's, and they move in unison a lot of times, and I've seen this, yeah, and I totally agree with you. An orb when definitely we start seeing these little contrails to go with them. You know what I mean? And you see this movement, yeah, that cannot, and when they're going in different directions, right? And there's no way that it can be, dust being blown in the wind because they're going independently different directions. But we got these things that are going shooting straight up in unison, and I'm just like, what are they doing? Why are they doing it? Are they just having a little dance, or the choreographed? What is the meaning behind it? But
yeah. I don't know, Michael. I don't know
uh,
everything.
these are questions worth asking, because they lead us to better understanding. So what about
That's because they move in formation, isn't it? They're all flying up at the same time.
yeah, but
And
why? What are they doing? Are they talking, or mind you, if they can hear our thoughts, maybe if they can respond to our thoughts and our movements, then certainly they must have the ability to communicate with each other. There's some form of communication
oh
from all
yeah,
the move in unison, but it's not all the time. I mean, it's just in certain moments. There's something going on there. There's a certain communication.
so that kind of leads into this appearance. Communication is what I see with my eyes is like a grey light. I call it a grey light because against it's not white, and against the blue sky, it kind of appears like a greyish white light. And all the orbs would do it. It spirals from their central core. They release it, and it kind of spirals out. This flash of this light. It's like a pulsing. And for a long time, I've assumed that it's more like how they are investigating, probing their surroundings, and also it's a communication between each other. This this grey light, which we can't, or the majority of us can't see, so it's a silent, it's light communication.
Okay. So there's gray light, and there's clock moving back and forth.
Yeah.
Mini sun, mini sun. Um, Interaction through the manipulation of my field by pushing or thought. Actually, we already talked about seeing orbs. They can latch onto your eyesight and follow where you look. This enables me to make them fly around. The faster they fly around, they start flashing. For example, I stand by the balcony and slowly invest on. So I'm going to show this back. I just wanted to have people have a better view of you. Um, yeah, following your eyes. um, and you can cause them to move, you believe, with your eyes. This is fascinating because there seems to be more than just orbs that can do that. Now, you don't know much about me. I have my experience, and the reason I'm even talking to you is because of interactions with what is called Bigfoot, Sasquatch, right? Now, a guy in your experience and what you're dealing with, I don't think you would just be too difficult for you to accept the reality that there are other things outside as orbs, and there could be some things like Bigfoot. that I believe is interdimensional because I've seen these damn things go through trees like orbs. Okay. And they have, and there seems to also be a lot of times where they are very observant. They know when people are watching them. They seem to know what your eye movement is doing. I mean, a lot of times the best way to film a Bigfoot or Sasquatch or forest spirit that's attached or associated with these trees is by taking pictures to the side and behind you, not looking strictly at them, because they seem to know and are aware of our eyes. Now, the same thing's going on with orbs. So, how the heck is this happening? We have this multidimensional or parallel, let's say, universe is running right alongside of us. And maybe this is an unfair question, but how do they know how to follow our eyes?
How do they know how to follow what?
Our eyes. How do they follow our eyes? I mean, how do you? I mean, it's not just. I mean, it's not just one that's following your eyes. There's tons of them following your eyes. I mean, how does, you know what I mean? And from
Super weird, isn't it?
it is bizarre. I mean, there's something that we're emitting from our own eyes
Yeah,
that they
well,
must
it's
be able to recognize that we see normally on ourselves.
I kind of believe that we are, we have spirit light within us. Each one of us has an orb, a spirit orb in our spirit body.
Well,
So we can see through that is that if that's what you're pertaining to.
well, what if, when we die? Well, okay, let's just imagine this for a moment. And I say this so or not, because I have no idea what we actually look like after this life. I've heard other people's and what they say they've seen and all that, but I still don't know because I don't know until I know, right? But what if we actually are the orbs and the orbs are us? Has you ever thought of that? In other words, our
Yes.
entity, who we really are is not this meat suit. It's actually this spirit, this light being that's an orb.
I absolutely believe, yeah, that I have the inclination that there is a spirit orb within us. So, like when I close my eyes, I can still see the orbs, and I always see this one. This one orb is always just sitting in front of me. It never moves. So, I think that's like the guiding principle. And then the other orbs are in connection, and they can see into through that orb. They know where to look. So wherever I look, this orb goes too. And what I'm seeing is that the expansion through of this spirit orb's sight. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense to me, but I don't know if it makes any sense to anybody else. But
Neuro linked. We are all neuro linked to them, whether you know it or not. It's that sixth sense again. We're all linked to them. They're listening. They're always listening to us. Like,
have you ever taken a picture of yourself in which there were multiple orbs attached to you? Have you ever take a picture or have someone else take a picture of you in which there were multiple orbs that you could see that were clear or was not necessarily attached to you, but just all around you? I'm not talking feet away or inches. I mean, all around you.
yeah.
Like Linus, you remember Linus with the cloud? Charlie Brown and Linus he's always dirty and anyways, and not in a negative way. Just they're just like all around you.
So I used to take a lot of pictures in the early days with the DSLR out back and in the backyard. And there were always orbs. I'd put the timer on, and then I'd run and stand in front of the camera, and the flash would go off, take a few pictures, and there were always orbs around me. That I remember I took a great picture of just me putting my hand out because I could see the orb with my eye, and I captured that with the camera as well. Kind of like proving to myself that it was there. So I have some videos. Maybe if you want me to put that on in the background of pictures I took many
Sure.
years ago. Okay. Share screen.
What do you guys think? Hey, what's going on, Dave? You missed one heck of a conversation. This has been it's a piece of the puzzle that's very important for what everybody's dealing with, researching. And if we negate this important piece of the puzzle, we're going to miss out on a lot of what's really going on around us. So, I just find it, I don't know what to say. I just find it absolutely fascinating. I find it amazing your ability to interact. Now actually, Kaseki Forest Bigfoot, David. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why you can get into the chat, but you can't get into this. But anyways, it'd be good to have you in here. Anybody else as well? But he has a kind of a similar experience with like you. When he goes out in the forest, he's always filming all these different. He calls they're the Bigfoot, Sasquatch, forest spirits, beings. He's always filming them. It's like, and he has kind of a similar relationship as you do. And it'd be very interesting to have like you two guys talking in this conversation. Because my experience is not the same as your guys's. I have experiences, but maybe I would have a lot more if I focused on it. I'm kind of like focusing on 20,000 different things at once. You know what I mean? I'm reading 2 books on the show right now, and I'm focusing on my son, and I focus on. So the whole idea of just staying focused on one area, which I'm glad, because having a more holistic, yeah, I'm still alive. You're more having a more holistic.
Oh, you're very busy.
What's that? What did you say?
You're very busy. I see you put a video out almost. You're very busy. I see you put 2 or more videos out a day.
Yeah, mostly it's just me reading a book, and trying to. You see, I figured from my thinking is, and it's good for me. It's not going to help as far as me being popular in any way, shape, or form, but I read and I read out loud. So I figure, and the reason is because I think that I learned this through scriptures and the holy books, that they're written in a way that you're supposed to read out loud. And there is the frequency and etc. that it reaches out into the ether around us. It does change things. And also, I believe this because of my personal experience. And that, Sharon, so if I'm going to read the dang book, I might as well read it out loud. Even if it's only a dozen people that hear it, at least those dozen people get a chance to hear a book, because a lot of times people are working and all that kind of stuff, and they're just too busy to read a book. And then, you know what I'm saying? But all these books are related some way or the other of what we're dealing with. So, what's up, Captain Gavin? Side slope, yeah. So, yeah. Anybody wants to join us, please join us as well for this conversation. It's this is a group. G is size. Well, come on in, Eric. Join us.
Hey, Mom. Can I just put this video on, Michael? About
yeah.
right there?
Did I had to stream?
Is that your friend Eric, Dad?
Yeah. Go ahead, Ben. My apologies. I was going on a rant and I wasn't paying attention to what you were going. Let's face it, they still have retain angelic qualities. Yes, they do. Yes.
You see this one?
We can see it. It's there. Oh yes, there it is. Before we go any further, what would you call that? Is it simply just an orb? Because it doesn't look like all the rest of the orbs. So what is it?
Sorry, there's a bit of reverb there. Where is it? I'm talking a bit. So hang on.
I started to walk backwards, and it followed me into the room here and shot up into the ceiling. It was really awesome too, because when I slowed it down, it kind of looked like an angel, like it stopped within
1/60th of a second,
and then reverse directions. Also, I enlarged photos, which I will show you. It will show the prismatic light structure of this orb. It's kind of like a X-wing, and at some points, when I snapshot of it, it looks like a tree with all the branches, or like a lightning bolt. So please enjoy. It's a very awesome orb.
Just turn the music off, just in case.
The music
You
sounds
see
like it
that?
was made
It's like
2014.
see, it's definitely not dust. It's darting back and forth like nothing else.
It's like
It's almost like a little person.
It's like a fairy or something type thing.
Yeah, yeah. I never had anything like that ever or ever or since.
That is fascinating. And you can
Yeah,
tell
it
it's
takes a nice little swipe at the hand, comes down and does a loop around my hand, trying to stay close.
and how big do you think it is?
And it has that movement. You could see. Oh man, I have to guess. There's only a few mil across, only a few millimeters.
So could you see that with your naked eye, or was it just on the film when you saw it? Well, it looks like you're tracking it, so you had to see at least through the camera. But could you see it with the naked eye as well, or just through the lens of the camera?
I was in the front. Yes, it moves so fast. You just had to keep watching on it.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff.
Just 6
Man.
feet. Just shows you how fast it was.
Like that, there's a video just I don't know how old the video is, but that somebody on TikTok decided to put it out of it, and there's like literally it looks like a fairy floating around with like a person with wings,
Yeah.
you know, and it's and where would be the head on that? Is there a head on that, or is that just like we got a buffering going on here? That ain't good. I think we got two balls. Maybe that's what the problem is.
Just happened
There you go. You're back. I think what happened is you open up. You have
Too
it's like
much going on. Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to tell. No, especially when you were having, you already had you live right there, Paul, with your film, the video, the camera filming you where you're right now. What am I trying to say? The camera's on, the webcam is on, and then you had have it on twice. When you have it on twice like that, the webcam on twice, focus on you. It's one thing share screen. You know what I mean? Because when you share screen, you're using the monitor from my platform. When you so what you had is you had you're trying twice to share your webcam. You can't do it. You can only use it once, right? If you do it twice, then it's so
Sorry
anyway.
about that.
Oh, that's all right. It's a big deal.
Okay.
I'm figuring it out myself. So you know what I mean. Oh, he says, "Well, I caught something just like that, but in the wild." And so he goes out there, and he's in Louisiana, out in the swamps and the bio, man. So he films some stuff. So, which actually, by the way, David Scott Pace probably might be joining me. He said he would. He said he would do it. So maybe next week. Does he see it with his eyes? Sorry, I was buffering over here. It wasn't just you. It was buffering for a little bit for all of us. So back to this whole thing. Yes, yeah. I mean, you've been saying all along you see these things with your naked eyes, right? So you've been seeing it with your naked eyes since 2014. So, which is absolutely wild that you were given that gift. And I'm still, what happened? I mean, did you get knocked over the head when you were 5 years old? What happened to make you do that? Because how come we can't do that? And yeah, like you have this power of tent and all that. But, hell, let's be honest. We do anything to these darn orbs anyway. So what? I mean, why does it matter what our tent is if we can't even do anything to them? You know what I mean?
It only became 24 hours back in 2014. But previous to that, when I was younger, I remember seeing these white cloud spirits, and I've seen like a full body manifestation ghost back when I was 10 years old. And then I recall seeing maybe a couple of UFOs, like silver discs, in my teens, and then got to my 20s, and I saw the orbs came down and started flashing. But the thing was, I was too young and naive to really understand or concept what was going on, and then that kind of stopped. And then a little later, in my early 30s, I saw these huge silver orbs coming out like a nursing home, and they were flying across the garden, the big field. Then that was only like the one occasion, and then so then really nothing had happened until like I was like mid 30s, and then I started 2014. I saw them. I started seeing 24 hours a day, orbs all over the sky and inside the houses now, around everyone. So yeah, it's pretty amazing, and I'm very thankful.
What do you think about these guys that are, say, UFO hunters that are seeing things that look an awful lot like orbs and saying that they're alien craft? Are they right? Are they being are they misinformed? Are they mistaken? What's going on? And there's like what's that one guy? Something Gear. That one guy is supposed to be like he's teaching people how to, they'll go outside and they'll do like a circle and they'll do some humming and chanting, and all of a sudden an orb will appear. Are they the same thing? Are they the same thing we're dealing with?
what I understand is that orbs can be like a conduit, like a portal uh, for entities, probably across the universe. It's a way of instantaneous communication. Um, but yeah, I think probably there's a bit of blurring there. The UFOs and orbs are one and the same thing sometimes. Of course, different from the physical ships, discs that we've seen. They're totally awesome, but different on another level, I think, of course. Real aliens, and but I think they can utilize, and they know that orbs are able to be used to communicate, and that's they're used as a portal, like in the C5 grouping or situations.
Right. Well, I know I seen a portal open up. There was three entities in it. Once again, it was round, like an orb, like a star, like the circumference or of a tree trunk or a branch, and on it goes. What about do you know anything about? You heard anything? I mean, have you paid any attention at all about like what's going on in North America and in a lot of our places was this quote unquote like Bigfoot research, Sasquatch research, and a thing called eye shine. Have you heard anything about that?
I have not heard of eyeshine,
You
but
see,
for
this
many years
what's
I
great
have
about
followed.
being with you is because you are not you are the legit. This dude is focused on one thing, and that means and we just ignored this guy to our detriment. Now, let me tell you something. When I see these things called, and I film it, and other people film it, it's called eye shine, and especially at night, they look bright like two orbs. Have you ever seen anything like that? Like the eyes of maybe an entity, but it looks like orbs. Or how do I say this? Because I don't want to get this all screwed up. Because I do believe there's times when it's the real eyes they have eye shine, and I think there's times when there's orbs when people film, and maybe they're playing the role of trickster for a moment, and or we are fooling ourselves because just so they're just the right location. But let's put it this way: if you that they read our thoughts and they're paying attention to our eyes, is there a possibility that orbs could mimic us by like? And if they knew that people are looking for eye shine out in the woods, and eye shine, what it is that these dogmen, cryptids, Bigfoot, and all that they emit this kind of shine that's not normal for any other animals, kind of like what the orbs do. And I just wonder if there's a possibility the orbs at times tricking us and making us think because they know our thoughts, they know what we're up to. So hey, let's just and these eyes and they flash off and on like an orb would do as well. If you don't know anything about this, then this is all new, and I'm just bringing it up to you, and it's probably a waste of time to even bring it up, but for your sake. But maybe it isn't. Maybe by planting the seed for you, you might be able to see something that we're not seeing or recognizing because we're focused on trying to find a Bigfoot and eye shine and missing the bigger picture, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Does any of that make sense?
I never really thought about that myself. That orbs would imitate another life form. That's the first time I've thought about that. I guess it would be possible, but I personally always assumed that there really is like the cryptoids and the Bigfoot. I totally, I'm totally on board with that. Um, and so yeah, it's in the spiritual realm with the ghosts as well, and the Bigfoot is able to, like you say, pass into another dimension, hide or go invisible into trees. But I can't say that I've imagined before that orbs would be able to shapeshift. No.
Or what with instead of them shape shifting? That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that it's just like they. So okay, we're looking for eye shine. So two orbs decide to show up in the right distance apart, like our eyes, and make it look like their eyes that we're looking at. It's just while we're looking for eye shine, which looks a lot like orbs at night, flashing back if they're staying lit. It's just a question of, I'm not saying it's so or not. It's just, it seems like it's a possibility that they said, well, they're looking for eye shine, they're looking for Bigfoot. Hey, and a couple get together say, hey, let's have a little fun with this guy. Let's just make it look like two eyes shining in the dark. You know what I mean? Here's the other thing too. I have this possibility. There's could be a notion that I believe that could be the case, and that is orbs hooking up together to create silhouettes or the illusion of, say, a ghost or a spirit. Is there a possibility in that? Have you seen anything like that? If it's all new, I mean, hey, listen, we'll get
I
there.
can't say from experience. I can most definitely imagine it. I think what some people would certainly have the ability to do that. Like yourself, you can see the Bigfoot. I don't know if I would be able to, but I'm pretty sure that other people can have that frequency, that wavelength, to be able to see the eye shine and the orbs, be able to form another creature. But I don't think my ability lends itself to that. Not yet, anyway.
Right. Well, it's just because what I've seen is that other spiritual entities do hook up, and they do. When they hook up together, they can create the illusion of an entity. We'll say Bigfoot, just for the sake of argument, but it could be a cat or it could be a dog, and it's there, and then and the next moment they're all uh, detaching themselves from each other, and the entity is gone, and it's like a bunch of bits of light or orbs, if you will. So it's it. Well, I guess when I'm getting at this orbs are just a big part of this whole scenario when it comes to understanding the complexity of these multiple parallel dimensions that are running side beside us. So here's my son trying to get my attention, right? To show his Minecraft creation.
Average classroom for the high school.
Good job, buddy. But we'll say there's something standing right between us right now that's 10 feet tall and is hairy or whatever. Or it could be looking something like something else. And we'll never know it. We'll never see it. We'll never feel it. But it's there. They might know it us, but we're not seeing them. And so what I'm discovering, and I know it sounds like out of this world, there's something wrong with you, Mike, except until you start listening to people who like shamans, you start listening to medicine men, you start listening to people who are really into this parallel universes and really studying it, and et cetera, et cetera. It's like, no, this is something that they believed in forever. We're just been so brain dead from our public school system and the Western education that we forgotten some of our heritage and what is around us. Sorry for that.
More than likely, Michael.
You think so? So, and it's yeah, but I think people need to start talking a little more about this. And even if it does, at first, truth is offensive at first until people come to accept it. So, hey, listen, I want you to come back. I know you probably want to live your life and go do something this Saturday. I do appreciate the fact that you joined us. I want you to come back, man, if you will. I don't know. Sounds to me like people were pretty much digging it, and it is a Friday night, so there'll be a lot more people who will watch it. With anything else you want to share with people? Do you got a book or anything? You're working on a book?
I know a lot of people do, but no, I'm not. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm like your average Joe, man, and just have a quiet personal life. Um, but it's. I just feel that really people need to know about this the orbs and the spiritual world around them because it's going to help them connect with the energies around them and feel much better and be more humble and loving and towards everyone. Um,
Have you ever
I
done
think
any? Is this your first time ever doing an interview?
pretty much yes,
You did a great
yes it
job,
is.
by the way. Yes, you did a great job, and it's a shame. And did you hear what I said, folks? No, if you go subscribe to his channel, it's called Orb Whisperer. It's on YouTube.
Thank you.
Do it. Please subscribe to it. Support this dude. Can you believe I'm the first guy to interview this guy after all this? I just want to, I swear to, I'm going to slap my head, and man, do I got a good head to slap. And I want to tell you, I just think that we, whether it's the cryptid community, whether it's the ghost hunter community, but are missing the point in all this. We're missing so much because we think we have to belong to some kind of group or camp, and we
No,
can't talk to anybody.
it's all about like personal development. Orbs are a collective. Um, like we all can experience orbs on the same level, but it'll also at the same time we experience them on a personal level. Personal meanings like orbs are all sorts of different colors, and they'll appear at all sorts of different times, whether we're emotional or we're having troubles or we're happy, or they're just trying to show us the other side. So it's a personal journey.
Well,
Um,
do you have enough
welcome.
time to do you have enough time to go through the colors real fast, or is it? I mean, I don't want to push you away. I just like I feel. I know it's your first time. And I was like, I don't want to push it too much on you. But if you got 5, 10 more minutes, let's talk about the colors real fast.
Okay, yeah, sure. It's a good
Okay.
thing. So I film the orbs in all the color spectrums: orange, blue, purple, green. So red, white, of course. But the more common ones are the white. And I got a lot of blue and the red, pink orbs. Rare colors are the oranges and the greens and the purples. So like good the orange ones signify, I think, more like an awakening, a wisdom, and like Archangel Michael. The purple is a very strong color and a strong communication. Um, it's another level of awareness, just like the orange, and like blue and red orbs also a lot of the time filmed together. So I have a blue one come to the camera, and then straight away a red one will come. So they're kind of like a pair. I'm not sure how that works. It's more like it just does. Red, white, and blue. Well, think of it like a color palette. Orbs can join together and meld, so you can get a different color. So you have a red and a white joined together, and then you'll get your rose pink color orbs. And it's all linked to your emotional feeling at that time, or what you're hoping for, and so orbs are listening and continually communicating you through other forms like that, like color. So you're right. Yeah, there's a color chart. Do you want to just look at the color chart quickly? Maybe I can find.
Is it? Do you have the actual colors, or is it on this pamphlet? Or not pamphlet, this PDF? Is it on this PDF that you gave
No,
me?
it's not PDF.
Okay, yeah. Just present when you're ready. Magic, huh? Side Soul says magic. All right. Maybe there's a bit of it. Maybe there just is a bit of it.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
If you wanted to know how long the interview's been going, it's been going about 3 hours now. If you wanted to know.
It's not hasn't been going 3 hours, buddy. It's only been going an hour and a half. So, and we're
Oh, that's.
yeah.
I have a horrible perspective of time. I'm sorry.
It's okay, buddy.
Sorry, I don't think I can find it.
Well, let's do this next time. This would be the next thing. Let's keep that in our data, our basic charts, and let's focus a little more on that color chart and
Yep,
a
that's
few
your
other.
homework. Okay.
Yes, on both of ours, and let's maybe we'll talk a little more about the camera work and what that all entails. But Paul, this is awesome. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, namaste and blessings to you much, and may Heavenly Father bless you a million times more than me and everyone else here. And once again, you can find Paul Orb Whisperer on the YouTube channel. Anywhere else that we can find you? Anything else?
You can find me on Facebook, but I don't really dabble in Facebook very much. All my attention is just make videos for YouTube.
Yeah, you're kind of, you don't have much of a social footprint there. You know what I mean? Social media footprint, but we can maybe change that a little bit. You know, his problem is this can be time consuming as well. So,
Yeah, it's usually time consuming. Yeah, putting all the videos together. Another one will come shortly, I hope.
Well, I hope so, man. And maybe in a few months we'll get together and share more information, compare data points from. I think that there's a big crossover in what we're doing and what you're doing, believe it or not. And I think we can learn from a lot from each other, as strangely as that may sound. And because I'm going to tell you something, there's been endless sightings of Bigfoot and orbs at the same time. I don't know if you knew that, but it just goes on and on and on. There were orbs when they saw Bigfoot. So, and yes, and so it's something to think about. So he'll definitely have more subs after tonight. So yes, sub to his channel. Gosh darn it! All right, Paul. God bless. Talk to you later, man.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
My son says
Bye-bye.
bye as well.